All right, welcome to episode number 4 of Disenfranchised. I'm your host, Keith Cunningham, and this is
Travis Gearhart.
And we are
Disenfranchised. So thank you guys so much for coming with us, dude. We have had a blow up of sorts on YouTube. We've been doing a little bit more stuff with the clips, right, to help bring in more viewership and whatnots. And we had a clip, the one where we were talking about Ben Shapiro's.
I think it was Ben Shapiro is a douche.
That was the name of the clip. You know, it didn't leave much to the imagination. But yeah, it was us talking about Ben Shapiro and how his yarmulke just keeps getting bigger.
It was interesting, though, because we were talking about a different clip and how it was over 500. We're like, oh, wow, that's over 500 views. And then the Ben Shapiro one just kept climbing as we're sitting there watching. We're like,
yeah.
What the hell?
So we're definitely going to be doing more of the clip stuff. And it makes sense. You know, we're learning this process just the same way that we learn anything moving forward with it. So we're going to be doing more clips. And yeah, we had over 2,000 views of that, and it's still climbing because it's not going anywhere. It's not like we took it down. So yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. We're having fun with it. The views are going up. That the number of people, adding us on. But this is going to be out already. But tonight we're going to go on that roundtable with Dion's Daily Dose. That's going to be done live. We'll have
that'll be live on Dion's page, and we'll have the recording, and we're going to post that on our page on all of our platforms. We'll post that on Wednesday. We're going to try to do that more often. Try to do like an interview show on Wednesdays. I want to say this first one's going to be Dion's Daily Dose.
Yep.
And the next one it's
this dude that does ghost hunting.
Yeah, he does
so cool.
Ghost hunting and pub crawls.
Yeah, he does cool shit. So.
I seen he posted something. I think it was on a Crown Point page. Needing help with a poltergeist, and I was like, what the hell? I sent that to Travis. I was like, we need to interview this guy. This could be pretty interesting. I've never heard of him, but Travis has went on a pub crawl.
Yeah, I didn't realize that he's the one that did these. So me and Aaron that's the haunted Crown Point pub crawl, and it was really good. Like it was like, and we stopped at different bars, and we would sit, they'd hang out for 10, 15 minutes, a beer, maybe 2 beers. But yeah, we started off at like the courthouse. We went through where Dillinger escaped. Stories, all those stories. So all the ghost stories of around the entire Crown Point, like around the whole square over there. So it was a cool event. If you get a chance to do it next year, when they do it around Halloween time, they do it in October, I believe. I would definitely go do it. I would recommend it. But yeah, we're gonna interview that dude. That's gonna be really fun. We've got a bunch of other stuff already set up. We've got a guy that worked in the immigration department, like at a high level. We're getting an interview set up with him. We got a cryptocurrency girl set up coming up real quick. We got Brandon Williams, who we talked about on the episode 0. He actually agreed to come on. Before I have him on, though, we're going to read his book. Or at least I am. You're like,
I'll take a cliff note.
But so I have the book ordered. I'm going to read it first because I want to have a better idea and understanding of what he does with it. But that's a really interesting concept. He actually paid money on he did a super chat to tell like Nick Fuentes about his like idea. And Nick Fuentes, it was a funny clip. Maybe when we have the interview with him, we'll drop the clip in to show, you know what I mean? That he was a really funny, he just crashed out on me. He's like, take this to the governor. I've got an idea. It was a pretty funny clip. So Brandon took it and he thought it was funny. He's like,
and what is Brandon's show called?
He is the Pickletarian. So
Pickletarian.
Yeah, he's a Pickletarian. So he, we'll get into that another time. But he
isn't he one stupid fuck?
One stupid fuck. Yeah. One stupid fuck is his code name. But yeah, he's gonna come on. That'll be fun. Oh, in fact, I need to tell him about me being in California. I might be able to catch up with him, grab a beer or something. I think he's in that general area. So
Next week, Travis is going to California
Yeah,
for work,
work.
and this show will probably be, I don't know, maybe I'll be here, or maybe we'll see how we're
but
gonna do it.
we're gonna do it. Like I said, the nice part about this is that I can set this up and we can have like the screen split and I can just do it from the hotel room.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll do something funny. I'll have like a blow up doll in the background, sitting in the cuck chair. I high from the hotel cuck chair. So getting into the meat and potatoes of the show, though, man, it has been a fun sports time to be in Northwest Indiana. College sports, dude. Fucking Hoosiers. We called it on the show. Not that we were the only ones.
Oregon, Indiana, both chose Indiana to win, and they dominated.
They did.
From the first pass.
We got to fix that problem.
I don't know what the fuck it's doing. Okay, so IU, they won the coin toss. They chose to defer, or they kicked off to Oregon. Oregon's first pass, interception for a pick six. That was awesome. And then the rest of the game, Indiana dominated. For the NFL draft coming up, they're saying Fernando is going to be the number one pick, and the number 2 pick, they're guessing it's going to be Oregon's quarterback. But Oregon's quarterback did not look too hot with Indiana's defense.
No, he did not. He definitely needs some work. But here's the thing too. You don't want to shit on the kid too much because he, everyone has bad nights, right?
Yeah, you're right. Everyone has bad nights. But I watched, Fernando jump from interview to interview to interview. That kid is professional as hell, and he's huge. He's like big. He's 6'5".
Yeah,
definitely number 1 draft pick. So
they kept showing his mom and sister in the audience, and I was like,
actually, I watched a couple shows talking about who the number 1 pick's going to be, talking about him. And I think the Raiders have the number 1 pick.
Yeah, poor kid.
And they were saying that Raiders ownership needs to reach out to Kurt Signetti and try to get a 2-for-1 deal.
Cool. Yeah, because they did. They fired Pete Carroll after 1 year.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Ooh, that would be interesting.
I hope it doesn't happen, though, because if you look at Indiana, he has already started the recruiting process. He's already went into what the hell do you call it?
The portal.
The portal. They've already got their next starting quarterback. It was TCU's starting quarterback. He looked like a decent kid. That was one of the few bowl games that I watched.
And this kid's brother is in the quarterback room. He's a freshman, I think.
I think so.
So you get the next starting quarterback while you got this kid's brother coming up. You could have a Eli and Peyton Manning situation.
Yeah.
That would be pretty cool. Except better because Eli Manning's a fucking douchebag.
And Miami and
Chargers.
Miami and Ole Miss. That was a hell of a game. Miami took the lead right away. Ole Miss came back, and there for a minute, I thought Ole Miss was going to pull it off and win it, and Miami scored that late touchdown. So Miami's going to the national championship game to face IU. What's that guy you like from the Cowboys? 3 Super Bowls, played for Miami. Michael Irvin.
Yeah, Michael Irvin's cool, man. He was coked out of his mind on the side. Well, maybe not coked out of his mind, but he was definitely on something. Maybe some caffeine pills or something. But man, he was so. And again, I like that. I think we touched on this last show that you still have people that are really dedicated to that. The transfer portals. Everybody moves around and shit. So it's it's nice seeing somebody that has that sort of school pride, So,
well, if I remember correctly, towards the beginning of the season, Miami was ranked very high. They were up towards 1 and 2. I do not remember who they lost to drop them down, but they're ranked 10th right now with IU ranked 1.
Mm-hmm. Everyone's pretty much saying IU's got the heavy favorites.
IU's I think it was a 7.5 point favorite. They're just dominating. They dominated Alabama. They dominated Oregon.
Yeah, they're all gas, no brakes, man. They're walking in and they're just butt fucking opponents.
It was what was it, like 35-3 or 35-7 going into halftime, and they asked Cignetti, how he felt about the half. He didn't say he felt good at all. He said, we're going to keep going. We got to clean up our mistakes. I'm like, you're already beating the shit out of him. So
Not enough.
not enough.
Not enough.
He doesn't stop.
That's what I want. And that's what's going to make him end up being an NFL quarterback or a coach. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's what's going to make him be an NFL coach is I could see him.
Well, I don't know,
getting in
because
and really pushing,
Nick Saban was NCAA coach, and then he came to the pros and didn't really care for it.
Yeah, I think
some coaches like the developmental process.
they do. Yeah, but I feel like Nick Saban too. Like I think it's because he didn't have immediate success. He didn't. He was like, oh, man,
Well, that's the
I don't like this. I don't feel like that Cignetti would have the same issues, and I might be wrong.
That's if he goes to the Raiders, who knows? That's the thing about being the next hot prospect. You're almost guaranteed you're going to be put into a shit situation.
That is true.
Look at Ben Johnson with the Bears. He got lucky.
Yeah, good segue. Perfect segue.
While it would have looked like he was going into a shit situation, the Bears had been building that team. When he came in, he had Caleb Williams was already the quarterback. He had Rome Odunze, DJ Moore, wide receivers, Cole Kmet as a tight end. Defense was okay,
it still is.
and it's still, but the nucleus was there. Now, the weak point was our offensive line. So Ben Johnson comes in. First thing they did in the offseason was rebuild that offensive line, and which we had a big guy go down yesterday, Ozzie Trapilo. But we looked pretty good. I mean, Ozzie got hurt, went out. They're saying Ben Johnson said he's probably done for the season. But the guy that came in as the backup to him, he looked good too.
You have to be able to keep that pocket clean. You got to give Caleb Williams a chance to move around and do what he does. I mean, he made some crazy passes yesterday we were, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little rough. Me and my buddy Tony went out to the bar and we watched it. And Aaron was there. Hi, honey. And I did. I woke up this morning and there was a half-eaten sandwich next to my bed.
If you look at it, the passes that he's hitting, that you're like, holy shit, you shouldn't have made that. He's out of the pocket scrambling. Right. When he's in the pocket and has time to make that throw, he misses some of the easy ones.
Yeah, he's not. That's Tony was complaining about that because obviously Tony's like you. He's more of a Bears fan,
Well, I mean, if he puts on the right shade of nail polish and he starts hitting those open receivers, the easy ones, it's gonna be something to watch.
Well, we got a couple of clips, and we're gonna preface the first one here. There was this awesome clip about him coming in with the nail polish. And,
with the nail polish, drinking his matcha. We're going to go ahead and drop that clip.
Drop that in right here.
His matcha was drank, his headphones were wired, his nails were painted, and the Packers he fucked. Bears fans, you did it. You'll never forget the night you came back from 21-3.
And that was good.
That was a good one.
That was good. So, and then
you need to remember the time on
follow up. No, I'll just put it when I.
Okay.
Then
we'll cut that out.
The second. We'll go
ahead and drop the second clip here too. This is a clip of Ben Johnson gave a game ball to Caleb Williams, and Caleb Williams turned around and gave the game ball back to him. And
it's a nice speech. He has a. It's nice. Well, you can see it right here.
See it here. Here it goes.
So.
Hey! Hey! Oh! 15 years, they said. It's haven't beaten, Green Bay or whatever since whatever, right? Talk heavy. Look at this guy right here. First playoff win. Everything he's done for us as a coach, everything the other coaches have done for us, and it started with him, with bringing in everybody and all of that, right? And for me personally, he's been, get emotional. For me personally, he's been monumental in my life so far. Yeah. And, And so to his first place
make sure when you talk to the media, you talk to them how this crowd tonight
Hell
made
yeah.
a difference. They made a difference, all right? Man, I'm so proud of you guys. To do what you just did, I said it at halftime, right? This is one that you'll never forget.
Yes, sir.
This is one you'll never forget, all right? Bring it on in. Bring it on in. Good, better, bad. Good, better, bad. Never let it rest. Never let it rest. Good gets better. Good gets better. Better gets better. Better gets better. Bears on 3, 1, 2, 3. Bears!
But yeah, both those clips really helped. You know, again, at the bar, even though I'm not a Bears fan per se, you root for the home team. You know, I don't want to see the Bears do poorly. You know, same way I don't want the Colts to do poorly. Same reason. I mean, I'm not like a official IU fan, but dude, it's awesome to see IU be number one.
But
you know?
IU is your alma mater.
It is. They'll kind of. I went to 1 year and then
Hey.
IU told me to stop coming because
Wasn't there a
I wasn't
big?
going anyways.
It wasn't IU. It was Purdue, but Purdue Northwest and up in Hammond, in Westville, weren't they saying, "Oh, if you go to school there, you still got a Purdue"?
Still IU. It's still it still says Indiana University. It's an IU campus. So yeah.
Yeah,
you
so
know,
that's your alma mater.
it is. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're not wrong.
He is a
Who's? But in any event, so
Okay, we'll
that's-
go back to let's get back to NFL. The Bears Packers game. If you didn't watch it, go back and watch it.
it's worth it. It's worth a watch. It's a good game.
6 minutes. If you don't want to watch the whole thing, go to about 7 minutes of the fourth quarter and watch those 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Holy shit. But I got a phone call or text at about halftime, and somebody said, "Are you upset that your Bears team is losing?" No, I'm not. They're not done yet.
Right. The cardiac Bears.
It's been like that all season.
Well, you know, we've mentioned him on every fucking podcast since.
Yeah.
We might as well do it again. Suck it, Stanley.
Yeah. Stanley's crying and he's wiping his face with his new shitty Packers jerseys.
No, they did well. It does help that they didn't have, or it doesn't help that they didn't have Micah Parsons. I mean, you gave away 2 first-round picks for that guy.
Well,
so
where was the new guy from the Packers? Where was he at?
what new guy?
The guy that came from the Cowboys.
That's Micah Parsons. Yeah,
No,
that's what
no, the other guy.
Trayvon Diggs. Oh, I hope he was probably.
I didn't even.
I don't even know if he played. He probably didn't even play. If he played the first, he played the first game, then he was back and he got 8 up. You know, they threw to him every time because he doesn't have the discipline, man. He had 1 good year and now, you know, and who knows? He could come back next year and have a good season, but this season at least he's nothing. So again, I don't think that the Packers will be smart to sign him to a long-term deal unless they can get a real sweetheart deal, but he's a Diggs and he's not going to take a sweetheart deal. So he's probably going to be a free agent next year. Yeah, he was nowhere to be found. He didn't do shit. Obviously, the Packers are a tough team, you know, no matter what, you know, all joking around aside, I'm sure they'll be back in the mix again next year, you know.
Maybe after the game, maybe an hour or 2 hours after the game, they're talking about the Packers coach, LaFleur. He might not be back with the Packers next year.
Really? I didn't see that.
And I thought you got to be insane to fire him. I think he's a good coach.
Yeah, I think he's the main reason that the Packers were able to. He had the balls and the smarts to basically move on from Aaron Rodgers. Like he said, yeah, I know that this guy's still hot, but we got this other kid we need to bring up. And then they got Malik Willis, a great backup. We'll see. I don't know how long he's under contract, but we'll see how long they keep him. They got Dowds. They got some good.
Well, they got a lot of
wide
weapons.
receivers. They got the good running back. What's his name?
Jacobs.
Yeah, Jacobs is good. You know, and they got Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons will be back next year. Well, again, here's the problem though. This is why I didn't mind the Cowboys trading him, because here's a big game and he's not there. Literally not there. You know, but even if he was there, he probably would have had 1 sack, just like he did against the Cowboys. He had 1 sack, and yeah, sure, that was in a critical moment, probably saved them to keep having a tie. But you don't trade 2 first-round picks for and pay a player the most money as any defensive end has ever made for a player that's just going to make sure that you have a tie against a team that the Cowboys didn't end up doing shit.
The only reason you trade 2 first-round picks to bring a guy in is because you feel like this is your year to go on a Super Bowl run.
And you want a game changer. hell, he's
Maybe-
good. He's a top 10. Or top 5 even. I'll give him top 5 defense, a pass rusher. But here's the deal: he's so one-dimensional. He's a speed pass rusher, and if you can get him figured out and double team him, he's out of this. He's out. That's it. There's nothing. He's undersized. He's not going to be able to have the strength to get in the middle anywhere. He disappears on the stat sheet, man.
Maybe that's the reason why they're mentioning LaFleur might not be back next year. He could have been the one that pushed for Parsons, saying,
Maybe.
we get him. I'll give up 2 first rounds for him so we can make a Super Bowl run. And then to get snuffed out by the Bears, that could be the end of his tenure.
Could be. We will see. I always like to make fun of his haircut because I feel like he has Matt LaFleur's haircut always looks like the 10-year-old that's going back to elementary school. Like, his school photos. He has which I did finally go get my haircut. Thank you, Bree. I dropped her name on the last one. She's awesome. She's now out of Chesterton. We're gonna do we'll see if she stays up there. She's testing out the waters and seeing if it's a good fit for both her and the owner. But assuming it is, I told her, I said, we'll get her doing some advertising here. So do that. And we're going to get some advertising spots here soon too, also from my neighbor who does some woodworking. So that's something if you want to email the show. We do, I think to start out, we're negotiating advertising spaces and working on slowly doing that.
And if you want to reach out, you can send us a message on here, send us a message on Facebook. I'd say the easiest way is just to go to the website, disenfranchisedpodcast.com, and the links are on the bottom. There's email links, there's links to all the shows, bios about us, something to check out.
So, all right, well, that's enough sports. We've spent
hold on.
More
We had another game yesterday. We had Panthers and Rams. The Panthers came into the playoffs. What are they? 8-8, I think, or something like that. Worst record for a playoff team. It was a home game for the Panthers against the Rams. I was saying that the Rams, in my opinion, early on in the season, look like Super Bowl contenders. They're good. Rams won 34-31. But I thought the Panthers were going to pull that off. I thought they were going to pull it off and win the game. I'm kind of glad that they didn't, because Panthers would have, being the lowest seed, they would have dropped right to, I think they would have been playing the Seahawks, right?
Yeah.
So now the Seahawks will get either the Rams, the Eagles, or the 49ers. And same with the Bears, either the Rams, Eagles, or 49ers. I think the next 2 games on the NFC side of things are going to be next 3 games. I think Eagles 49ers today, it's going to be a barn burner.
Yeah.
Hell, right now.
I hope the 49ers just fuck the Eagles up. Fucking hate the Eagles. Not just because I'm a Cowboys fan, because I've been to Philadelphia.
I don't like either one of them, but
no, I don't like the 49ers either, personally.
I do like Brock Purdy, though. He is too damn good.
It's such a good story. Like Mr. What do they call that? Mr. Irrelevant.
Yeah.
It is a pretty cool story.
And right now, while we're recording, there's 4 minutes left in the Bills-Jaguars game. It's 7-10 with the Bills leading as we speak. The entire game. 7-10, second quarter.
Oh, second quarter. 4 minutes left. Well, I thought you said the second quarter. Okay.
Right. But Monday night game, I'm looking forward to that. Steelers-Texans, number 4, number 5. I'm rooting for Aaron Rodgers, man.
I would like to see Aaron Rodgers. I don't think so. I think the Texans are going to take it. In fact, I think on my weekly pick'em, I think I picked the Texans.
As much as I am not a Packers fan, I've always liked Brett Favre, and I've always liked Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
I think they're good.
I think we were talking on the phone. We were like BSing, and I said, how funny would it be then if that's the final game of his career is and it's Steelers versus Bears, and Aaron Rodgers goes and just breaks their heart one more time and just wins the Super Bowl and then finishes off with his discount double check. I still own you.
Now there is a Hebron town councilman that is a Packers fan. As the Packers were winning yesterday against the Bears, he's posting all of his bullshit. Then as soon as the Bears win, it's sob story bullshit. Nobody wants to hear your crap. One of his posts said something about he doesn't think Aaron Rodgers wants to own the Bears anymore. Well, there's nobody at the Packers owning the Bears anymore.
It's true. It's true. There's a whole state of Wisconsinites that are.
I have to say that on the show because just looking, checking our analytics, I know you watch the show. Why don't you hit the goddamn subscribe button?
Yeah, like and subscribe.
What the
Little
fuck?
bell on Spotify. Get the notifications when we drop shit. So again, we're gonna be dropping 2 shows a week now.
Yeah.
We're gonna be doing your usual recording on over the weekends to kind of talk about the week. But then we're gonna be doing the interview shows on Wednesdays.
I mean, hell, we one of the episodes we talked about your father. God rest his soul.
Good dude.
Maybe we would ask you for an interview, but no, you watch the goddamn show and you don't fucking follow it.
Gotta follow it. We'll interview anybody.
Yeah, we'll interview
I'll
you.
talk to anybody.
Come tell us what's going on. Why not?
See.
All right, let's move on. What do you want to go to? Candidate filing in Porter County?
So this week was the candidate filings in Porter County. We'll be giving kind of updates of ones that we think are kind of interesting over the course of it. And
Well, for candidate filings, it looks pretty much the same. Clerk, Republican Jackie Haney. There's no Democrat yet. Recorder, John Miller, Republican. Republican Jeff Ballin for sheriff. Jerame, is that Jerame? Yeah, Jerame Simpson, Republican for coroner. Sue Neff for assessor, Republican. Red Stone, District 1, County Council. District 2, Commissioner. There is a primary on the Republican side.
that'll be an interesting one.
Looks like we have former county coroner Cindy Dykes taking on a Republican Mike Brickner. Mike Brickner is the former Valparaiso chief of police, and he also had something to do with 911. Was he the 911 director or
I'm not sure.
something like that? I'm not sure what his title was called. But we also have nobody filed for District 2 County Council. District 3, we have Republican Don Miller versus Democrat Jack Tippold or Typold. I think it's Tippold. Sounds better. District 4 Council, Craig Kenworthy, Republican. Boone Township, we have Howard O'Connor. He's the current Republican Township trustee. He filed. Board members, Chet Ebner and Jeff Grogan, one Democrat, one Republican. Township trustee in Center Township in Valpo, Republican Chuck Harris. He is a former coroner, auditor. I mean, he's been everything. He wants to be trustee, so whatever. Then you got Democrat Kevin Hagan. Township Board, Mary Jo Newland, Kendra Davidson, both Democrats. Jackson Township, nothing. Liberty Township, Matt Kaiser. Everything else is...
And that's obviously just the Democrats and Republicans. The Libertarians, they put their slate together and they do it at their convention, which is an interesting, again, this is my first run as an official Big L Libertarian, so I'm still kind of learning the process. I'm excited about it. To my knowledge, there's nobody else that's running, jumping in, but I think too they do it that way so that you can have a little bit of, that you don't, a lot of what happens with especially small town politics is people jump into different races just to fuck people over. And so they try to do that to help distinguish that and keep that to a minimum is what my guess is of why they have that process. I'm okay with either way. I mean, I think that, again, I think that the whole system in general needs a lot of changes. I mean, you could go through and the whole file, the way that it's filed, the way that everybody, how you identify yourself as a Republican versus a Democrat, you have to vote in the last primary, I believe is the only thing that you have to do. So yeah, regardless, there's nothing too surprising. It's a lot of the same typical names. A lot of guys that we worked with and whatever. And again, there's really no fresh blood getting involved in most of these races. It's still early in the filing. It's still a lot of the same people. The Cindy Dykes one is an interesting. I like Cindy quite a bit. She was a good coroner. She ran, and I always got along quite well with her. So I hope she pulls out in her primary, mostly because
I really like Cindy too.
But also mostly because that what's the dude's name? I just had a break. Mike Brickner. Mike Brickner. Again, I don't really know him. From Adam, I think he's you see his name on there all the time. And I just feel like he's just another guy that the Republicans throw on, and he hasn't really won shit. They just kind of keep, and again, I didn't want to get too far in the weeds on all this because all the races are still pretty early.
He's a nice guy. It's just,
if I've met him, I don't remember him really.
It seems like the Republicans put him. If I had to guess, the Republican Party as a whole does not care about Cindy Dykes. They're not a fan of her. I could be wrong.
Or it could just be they just both happen to not really discuss, ahead of time. So it's whatever, man. Again, I'm not gonna guess. I'm not involved in any of that shit anymore. Thank God. I don't want to be involved in any of that shit anymore. And that's why I joined the Libertarian Party, because I like, I don't want to be in the swamp. I want to help get rid of the swamp, get rid of the same old names, same old people that aren't doing shit.
But I will like to mention that if you do happen to be a Republican or happen to be a Democrat, there is filings now for Republican state delegates and Democrat state delegates, and there's also filings. I'm not sure on the Republican side, but there's Democratic precinct committeemen. So if you want to steer, if you happen to be a member of those parties and you want to steer them in a direction.
Well, I have the whole list. So the 2026 candidate filing on the ballot in Indiana, all 9 U.S. House seats, statewide offices, Secretary of State, State Comptroller, Auditor, and Treasurer of State. About half of Indiana Senate, 25 districts are up for grabs. All 100 Indiana House seats. What's one of the ones I'm running for? TravisGerhardt.com. Judicial offices, sheriffs, commissioners, councils, school boards, and more. That's all very interesting. Me personally, again, I do have a dog in this fight, and I don't want to see the Republicans or Democrats grow. I want to see the Libertarian Party get a chance to get involved, get in there, and start. You can't just keep bitching about the same goddamn thing if you're not going to get involved and try to add a third voice.
A lot of people, they don't see what a state delegate is or a precinct committeeman is. If you want to steer the party, that's where you go. I was a state delegate. I did not make it to the convention. You were a state delegate, weren't you? And you went to the convention. What did they have you vote on while you were there?
We had to vote. Oh, who did we have to vote for? We voted for.
Isn't it Secretary of State?
Yeah, I think we did. We voted for our candidate for the Secretary of State, and there were some other things that were like internal House, things. Yeah,
but you're basically voting on the direction of the party.
Yeah, you're voting on the direction of the party a bit. You're voting on you're voting on that stuff. That was when we were down there. Was also when we were told that during the districting that we were told like officially at the convention, but it was like told amongst how that stuff goes. Like it was told behind closed doors, and then we were told behind closed doors, hey, just so you guys know, we're going to be stuck with, at the time it was Visclosky, now it's Mervand. You're going to be stuck with Visclosky in that District 1. Sorry, but we're creating a couple of other Republican, districts so that we can maintain control, yada, yada, yada. And you're just like, oh, cool. So, and that's how it works. I mean, we've talked about this now for 3-4 episodes. It's how much do you bring to the party? They don't give a shit. They don't give a shit that, all they see is a blue district. It's all they see. They don't care about you. Quit pretending like these politicians actually care about you. They don't.
I'm gonna roll into my, I talked to you about the Electoral College and how a president's elected.
That was
I had an idea, because you hear a lot of voters say, "Why vote? My vote doesn't matter." And in some instances, I'd say they're right. Their vote doesn't matter. If you look at, we'll use Chicago because it's, Chicago goes blue for president every year. And it's not because Illinois went blue, Chicago. Illinois goes blue. They're what do I call it? Their electorates or whatever.
Yes.
Their electorates go blue every year. And it's not because Illinois voted blue. It's basically because Chicago voted blue. That's it. The rest of the state is red. Maybe some portions by St. Louis or down by Springfield vote blue, but the majority of it is red. Now, a lot of people say that, why vote? My vote does not matter. Now, what if you changed it to where, in order to win a state, like let's say Indiana, okay, now let's go Illinois. How many electoral votes is Illinois?
Let's find out.
So let's say instead of to win Illinois, you had to win the popular vote. What if to win Illinois, you had to win 51% of the counties in Illinois. And to win those counties, you had to win 51% of the popular vote in the county. That would make Joe Blow, that lives down in buttfuck Egypt County in Illinois, his vote would actually matter because his county would be part of the 51% to win the whole state.
Right.
Now, yeah, that would be that would be a pain in the ass. But it's got to be better than what we got now. And
What
if
you
you're
got now
saying,
is again, it doesn't. If unless you are in that particular area,
I would expand it too. And
19 Illinois has 19 electors.
19 electors. So I would expand it if you're worried about. Well, if you did it that way, what if one guy wins 25 states, another guy wins 25? 25-25. It's split. I would open it up. I would allow Puerto Rico to vote. I would give them one. Another thing. I would change it to where each state was worth one electoral vote. So there's 50 electoral votes. Puerto Rico would be one, so there's 51. There's your split. You have to win by winning the majority of the counties. That would make everybody's vote count.
It's always fun to have these kind of thought exercises, I did a similar, it's never going to happen, unfortunately. I did a similar kind of article the other day where I was talking about where you can actually make, and I'm of the opinion is if you don't like either candidate, I've said I didn't vote for like 9 years because I was just disgusted with it all. I just stopped voting. I didn't care. I didn't show up. And that should count for something, because if you're so disgusted by the system, and so it's basically the lesser of the two evils argument. Well, you got to show up and vote or you can't bitch. Well, no. What if you think they're both just, the South Park, douchebag versus a turd sandwich? Like, if you think both candidates are just absolute garbage, then you should be able to voice your disdain for that, disdain for the system that we're in, by not showing up to vote. And in that case, then, if you don't get even like, and again, that could be a debatable number, but if you don't get X percentage of people to show up and vote, all right, well, we're going to do it again. All right, go back, Republicans, Democrats, go back and let's get new candidates. We didn't get enough people show up.
That's why I think my way of voting for a president, I think your voter numbers would be through the roof.
Yeah. It would get you out there. So again, some sort of,
because what are we looking?
But every time you start looking at that, all that they do, and because it's the same thing, if we're talking about what we really need also is we need at least 4 political parties, really, right? Because you've got the Democrats and the Republicans. The Republicans have the, moderate on taxation, moderate on economic policy, hardcore war hawks that basically run fucking everything. They have some of the billionaires, but they're not particularly conservative. They just want fucking tax breaks. They want to be able to control shit, right? So you've got that. And then you've got the conservatives that are like, hey, I want to, I've got more conservative minded issues. I'm a gun guy. I believe in this. I believe in God, faith, and family, and blah, blah, blah. Those guys. And then you have the small government guys. Like I just wrote an article about it. And so you don't have, there's no way that all 3 of those fucking, the very nature of how each branch of those, or each leg of that stool is, by nature, they're all 3 adversarial. And you're trying to put them all in the same category and saying, hey, vote for this. So we're all on the same side. No, you're not. By the very nature of what you believe in, you're all 3 adversarial. And the Democrats are the same way. You've got the hardcore fucking leftists, the socialists, this is what we want, versus the more liberal on all the gay rights shit, all the or trans rights shit. I think the gay rights stuff's kind of, for the most part, everyone kind of is on the same thing. The COVID stuff, there's that. You have, and then you have the war hawks and the Democrats that always fucking end up going, everybody, when, Obama talked a big game, but then he got in and he absolutely expanded executive powers. He absolutely expanded the surveillance state. I mean, he was Bush presidency. He was the 3rd term of Bush presidency, basically. They don't like to see, everyone, Obamacare was fucked up.
Speaking of surveillance state, I hate when I drive through my hometown and I see a plate reader.
Right.
It drives me nuts. You go from town to town, plate reader. You leave the town, another plate reader. Next town, another plate reader. This is fucking ridiculous. And then I think, you know whose taxes paid for that son of a bitch?
Ours. We pay.
We live
vote
in a
for
prison
people.
cell. We live in a prison cell without walls. It's ridiculous.
You're not wrong. It's I don't know, man. It without going on too big of a rant on that, it's
It's a good clip.
yeah, that's a good clip. But it's yeah, there's not enough people. You start to get it, right? People start to get it. They start to see COVID happens, and I think of some of the Republican buddies that I had that were like, well, the Democrats are doing this and they're taking away my rights to this, and oh, they're doing this and they're making me do this. And you're like, yes, oh, you're starting to see it. Okay. And then as soon as they got Trump in, and it's like, and you just see him like, well, he's going to fix everything. He's going to drain the swamp. And now he's hanging out with Lindsey Graham and fucking doing everything that Benjamin Netanyahu says and just catering to his big money donors. I mean, that's all he does. That's all he's done for this entire year. It's not even under the table. It's just out there. It's just out there to say, hey, we're going to take care of the people that paid me. And you're sitting there going, oh, okay, well, where's the fucking Epstein files? Well, oh, you said no new fucking wars. Well, that's clearly hasn't fucking happened. We're about to Iran's fucking popping off. I'm sure behind that. There's not a doubt in my mind that the CIA is over there doing that right now.
Iran's popping off. Greenland. We're wanting to take Greenland. Venezuela, Colombia. I mean, it's just never ending. What happened to the Somalians in Minnesota?
Nope. Gone. That was new news cycle.
Yeah. New news cycle.
They're done. They don't give a shit about that. There was, and that actually does a nice. So while we're still on the local and state stuff, before we get too far into the, because we try to segment it out a little bit. So before we get too much into the national side of it, there was a vote that we wanted to highlight. So, well, let me read this. So, after a January 2020 vote on a war powers resolution regarding Venezuela, Trump publicly criticized Republican senators, including Todd Young, on his Truth Social account. Republicans should be ashamed of the senators that just voted for Democrats in attempting to take away our power to fight and defend Trump, the United States of America. Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, Rand Paul, Josh Hawley, and Todd Young should never be elected to office again. So, now the whole point of why the Senate voted for that resolution act, or war powers resolution, rather, is because you're supposed to go to Congress to get those war powers. That was what is in the Constitution. Because of terrorism, because of 9/11, because of the government telling us that they need more power at the executive level, they need more. It took away all the powers from your congressman. So regardless of Democrat and Republican, you're supposed to go, and yes, I know some of the fucking hardcore MAGA people are gonna be like, well, Obama did this. I'm not talking about D's versus R's. I'm talking fucking all of them. The fact that the president is either a Republican or a Democrat should not matter nearly as much as it fucking does. And so, yeah, I'm happy that the Senate fucking voted for this because they're supposed to have that power. So they're trying to scrape a little bit of that power back to them. So congratulations, especially Todd Young. I know he's a
but you also
so
have to look at it as it's supposed to go to your congressman to vote for a war, basically.
Yes.
Your congressmen are the main ones at risk because their district is the smallest. You got 2 senators per state. You got the president. Yes. Your congressman represents the district. If they go in and vote for war and their constituents didn't agree with it, that congressman's going to be replaced.
That's the nature of how it works.
That's how it's supposed to work. So the congressmen that are on there saying, "Oh, we don't like that the executive branch has this much power," I think they're full of shit too. They like it. They like it because then they can sit back and say, "I never said do this. I never voted for it."
Right. Yeah, it's
I think it's kind of like
I mean,
Double-edged
there's
sword.
always double, in all these votes, there's always multiple fucking angles. I still am glad that they voted for it. I would like them to take, to go back to the absolute fucking Constitution. Go back to the Constitution. We shouldn't be able to just randomly fucking bomb people. And that's what we do. Well, it's not random. It's thought out. There's a reason that they do it. It just appears to us that it's fucking random, right? So it's them going in and having covert operations. I mean, my God, how much did they, let me look this up real quick. This is a little, we didn't preface this during the thing. How much money was the defense budget recently increased to? So I didn't do obviously the stuff, but I did hear about this on Glenn Greenwald. It was, I believe, 800 billion was the defense budget. They asked for, or 750, I'm sorry. They asked for it to be bumped up to $1 million at the beginning of the Trump's presidency, or
a trillion.
Trillion, my apologies.
Billion.
Now they just, and it's all, at this point, it's all just fucking fake money. You know what I mean? And so then recently it was bumped up to 1.5 trillion.
It was doubled. So that's wartime money. Are you starting a war?
Well, that's exactly it. Well, you basically have already passed a record defense law that takes military spending past the 1 trillion mark. Trump administration proposal, so it hasn't happened yet. In January 2026, President Donald Trump proposed increasing the U.S. defense budget to 1.5 trillion. That's roughly 66%. So you're not draining the swamp. You're adding money to it. And then he's talking about, we could talk about the Greenland. Talking about just giving each of them like $10,000 fucking dollars to vote to leave Denmark. That's our tax dollars.
Yeah.
I had a buddy of mine, a super pro Trump buddy, and that's fine. Again, not to, I'm not trying to.
I want paid to vote. I'll use $10,000.
Yeah, no shit. You can fucking pay everybody in Greenland. And his argument was, well, that's cheap to acquire all those. We already have the resources. We already have bases there. We just want to be able to just go through and just rape them the same way that they rape us. And that's exactly what it is. It's a rape of their fucking. You think we're going to benefit from the purchase of Greenland? No, because we're going to end up having to give them all the same goddamn social programs that we have to pay for all these motherfuckers. You know what I mean? You think the Somalian daycare that's just the tip of the fucking iceberg. The amount of money that Doge started to uncover before Trump and everybody else was like, look, never mind. This was a bad idea. We didn't think that your guys would actually really uncover, what we found out was happening with USAID.
Yeah, but I think if you look at the defense spending going up to 1.5 trillion, if you really look at it, look at the guy who left Doge. He runs AI companies. Are they going to start using AI with the military? It's guaranteed. It's guaranteed. And I bet you if you look into it, he's tied to those companies. There's probably, I don't want to say a backdoor deal, but it's a front door deal because it's right in front of your face.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll leave Doge and then, give me some preferable treatment when a war starts. I guarantee you're probably not going to find it now, but years later down the road, you're going to see, oh, look at that shit.
Yep. And again, the whole, why the Epstein file wasn't released is because Trump's on it. Mark this page for future blah, blah, blah. I think he was pissed off because he wasn't getting his, he wasn't going to get his money. I mean, the only reason that Elon Musk is as successful as he is because he gets all the government contracts, right? So he's and this is my argument that I've made with people that I know that are much more on the left when it comes to financial, and they're like, well, why not socialism? Why shouldn't we? Blah blah blah. First of all, too big. It's too big of a country to. When you look at any of the countries that actually, because they always talk about small countries, they're like, well, this small country, they're able to make it work. If you're the math doesn't add up, right? So I'm not pro socialism by any stretch. Now, the one argument though that I make when they're like, well, look at how the billionaires, they don't, there's no trickling down, and they're right about that. But the main reason I always tell them, they're like, well, do you think you should really need $1 billion? First of all, I don't have a problem with however much money anybody makes, as long as they're making it the same, as long as they're on the same goddamn playing field. But they aren't, right? The only way that you create billionaires, if you look at all the billionaires, they got that way by fucking off the piggybacking off of our tax dollars in the form of government fucking funds, whether it's grants or them pushing the one thing in one direction or another, whether it's bills, or I'm gonna invest in all this electric vehicle shit. Oh, look, the government are making the standards where you have to have so many electric vehicles. Oh shit! Oh, how did that happen? I mean,
Yeah.
it's done right in front of our faces,
That's
right?
why you can say that the two-party system is broken, because those standards were put in place by Obama,
Yes.
a Democrat.
Oh yeah. Oh, because that's the whole thing. They want you they want you to fight and argue about the trannies and bathrooms. They want you to fight and argue about, honestly, this, and this is maybe a good segue, because we did want to talk a little bit about the ICE shooting in Minneapolis. They want us to be fighting about that shit. They want us to do that. And that's all part of the game. They don't want you to look behind the fucking curtain and see where the actual money's going, what they're actually voting on, how they're trying to keep you out. And that's not tinfoil hat shit. That's every documentary that you fucking look up about how the government has acted in the past. You think that every other year we get more information as stuff's declassified, and it's almost always like, oh, you guys thought that we were running illegal operations here? You were right. Oh, you guys thought that we were embezzling money here? You were right. It's always fucking right. You know what I mean? So yeah, JFK probably was assassinated by a combination of the CIA and, but also when we get this redacted, make sure that anything that has to do with Israel is redacted from these documents. Why the fuck would you put that in there if Israel didn't have anything to do with it, right?
Yep.
The Epstein files, that shit. They don't want it released because they don't want you to know that if the CIA didn't fund it, they're at least complicit. Complicit. I was somewhere between complicit and complacent. So at the very least, they're complicit in the whole goddamn thing. So it's like, what do you do? Well, you do what we're doing here. We're talking about it. And I think that that's the important thing. I think it's the important thing to just talk about it. And one of those things is the ICE shooting.
Was her name Renee Good?
Yeah.
Renee Good.
Yes. So I'll let you start this one off. I've been ranting for a minute. What's your thoughts? I mean, it's not a there's no cut and dryness to this whole thing, in my opinion. But I'll stop talking. I'll let you go first.
It all depends on how you look at it. What angle do you want to look at? Even the angles of the videos. The first video when you see her trying to take off and he shoots her. They said 3 times. I only heard twice, but
I think it was 3.
It was 3. When you look at that angle, you're like, oh, she was trying to leave. He jumped out of the way. But then another video comes out. It looks like she hit him partially. I don't know, bumped him, dragged him maybe a little bit. It's one of those things is, why was she even there? Why was she there? Is she a paid protester? Does she live around there? I don't think she lives around there.
She was from Colorado.
She was from Colorado. Okay, so why was she there?
She was a part of a group that was actually following ICE around and purposely antagonizing them.
Why do you think that's a good idea?
It's not.
Who pays her? Because if you're gonna follow somebody around like that or follow ICE around, who's paying you? I cannot just.
No, it's not illegal to do that though.
It's
stupid, but it's not illegal, and you still have the right to protest.
Like I said to you the other day, I think we were talking about your son maybe, but being stupid costs money.
Yes.
And being stupid now costs you your life.
Yeah.
You might not agree with my views. I really don't give a fuck.
And that's okay. There's nothing. I understand, to me, you have to take even one step further back. So we've talked about this a little bit on the show in the past. Is ICE, why are they doing these in the manner they're doing it, where they're like coming in, they're fucking,
that's an easy one. They're doing it that way because it is political theatrics.
Yes, even though they're not actually sending that many people fucking back home.
Yeah,
they're showing up and they're it's the same thing. It's almost the exact same thing as when you see a liberal wearing a mask in way post fucking COVID. When you see a liberal wearing a mask, they're virtue signaling, right? ICE is basically virtue signaling to the MAGA base to say, look what we're doing. Look how big our dicks are, right? That's what they're fucking doing.
But the numbers, the
numbers
deportation numbers are not there. They're not there at all.
Yeah. And again, that's, but you can do it and you can deport. One of the guests we're going to have on that was from immigration, he kind of keyed me in, and he was under the Biden administration under immigration. And again, I don't want to get too much in the weeds because I want to have him talk. But one of the things he goes, a lot of people, have this view about immigration with Biden. He goes, and I don't think he was involved on the border side of that. That's a whole different issue. And he goes, but as far as sending people back, we broke a record the last year with the number of illegal immigrants we sent back during the Biden administration. And I'm like, well, that's good to know because I didn't fucking know that. That's not, again, you don't get all the information. So there was efforts to fix it on the back end, obviously in the front end, and we can talk about that on that episode in that show. So now you've got these guys that are going out and they're fucking gung ho and they're trying to be Billy badasses. You're hiring people that don't have experience with what they're doing, right? So in this situation then, to me, you've got this guy who had gotten dragged and I couldn't believe that the vice president of the United States said this publicly, because to me, man, you're poisoning the fucking pool. Like the Trump administration, and I think it's on purpose. Like they try to push the fucking narrative. When you have a fucking trial, you have to have a fucking pool of people that are untainted.
Yep.
So if you're saying, well, this guy was, two things. So one, he didn't help himself by talking about it. You should say, hey, this is a matter that we take very seriously. We're going to take, the law is the law, the law is going to follow. I'm the vice president of the United States. This isn't my place to do it. First of all, it's what he should have fucking said. Second of all, you get on stage and you say, oh, well, think about this. Think about it from his point of view. 1 month ago, he was dragged in front of a car. Well, now you're giving motive. You just gave a jury pool a soundbite that this guy was already fucking, and a good lawyer, a good prosecuting lawyer will go and say, so do you think that you were mentally fit to be on that job? Do you think that it was fair? Because here's the other thing. Here's the next side on the lawfare side, right? It is Minnesota law, because I see a lot of people posting it, that is a Minnesota law that if you are using a vehicle as a deadly weapon, you have the right to defend yourself. That is. It is also policy, though, for you as an agent to not be in front of a vehicle, period. You don't put yourself in that position. So you're breaking policy by approaching the vehicle from the front, first of all. Second of all, it is against policy as well to shoot into a moving vehicle. Obviously, this dude was a good shot. He put 3 bullets straight into her. Killed her instantly. Motherfucker, it could have been. He could have shot through the goddamn window and killed anybody else in the thing. So and then the last thing, and then I'll shut up and I'll hand it back to you. But the last part about this whole thing is that, how much power do you want to give the federal government to just shoot and kill you? Yes. Did he get bumped by the front? He wasn't supposed to be in the front. And so to me, this is almost exactly like the George Floyd thing, right? Yeah, I'll show you.
Here's what I think about it. She was there. She was with a group that was following ICE. If the political theatrics with ICE have never existed, because they have to put it out there. Look at all these people we're snatching up and deporting, even though the numbers, what they put out, the numbers doesn't show that they're doing that great of a job anyways. No. If the theatrics wasn't there, she wouldn't have been there. There would not be people following them around. If they weren't doing this in broad daylight or at graduation events or all the other bullshit places that they've done it at, there wouldn't be people there following you around. It'd be like, oh, another sting operation. We don't know why. But no, that's not what's going on.
Right. And now, mind you, they were there to pick up like some child molester or some shit, from what I understand. So that's good. Have the sting operation, but do it. You know, you're supposed to just do it. You don't
Do it
have
quietly.
to. Yeah, you just do it and you do it quietly. You show up, you do your shit, you get the fuck out. But that's not what they've been doing. It's been this whole goddamn political, theatrical bullshit. So yeah, you got that to start. And so again, like I started saying, I feel very similar to this about how I did with George Floyd. Did the guy fucking deserve to die? Absolutely not. Does it help when you're fent out of your fucking mind and you're being belligerent? That doesn't help. Are you supposed to shove your knee into somebody's neck so much that it kills them? Obviously not. And they went through and they were prosecuted and they should have been. Do I feel like it necessarily needed to end up in, however many nights of people fucking rioting, getting fucking free Christmas gifts, basically? No, I definitely don't. And I think that and then that rolls right into Kyle Rittenhouse, right? That was when Kyle Rittenhouse shot those fucking pedophiles, right? Well, that wasn't his town.
That wasn't his
That
town.
wasn't his town. He wouldn't have had to shoot those guys.
Yep.
And that was what the liberal argument was, is they said, well, he shouldn't have been there, right? That was what the liberal argument
It
was.
bounces back and forth.
It does. And the liberals were probably right. Yeah, he probably didn't need to be there brandishing.
But you know what both these stories have?
They were within their rights.
No. They both started on political theatrics.
Yeah. Yes.
Because the George Floyd thing, you would have never knew about that, but they needed it.
They pushed it. If you remember at the time, they fluffed this whole goddamn thing up. They were dropping pallets of bricks, and they were figuring out that it was actually funded by George Soros. Remember?
Yep.
Remember when that was a fucking thing? So how much of this is also being funded by political theatrics? You know?
And that's what pisses me off. You will find out years down the road that this was funded by somebody like George Soros or whoever. But years down the road, when we find that out, it'll be like, well, nothing to see here. Too late to do anything about it.
But instead, we're all gonna motherfuck each other on the internet. And
Yeah,
we're fucking.
We're gonna go
retards.
back and forth about Renee Good getting shot. Some are gonna side with ICE. Some are gonna side with her.
And they're like, oh, she was a lesbian. Okay. Like, don't get me wrong, man. Like that whole aspect of it, it's been kind of gross to see how many people were like happy that she got shot and killed, like I'm not happy she got shot and killed. Was she probably a piece of shit? I don't know, man.
But then again, I don't really care.
I don't really care. That's not the thing. I think fucking 90% of the population's a piece of shit.
Whoa,
Or notwithstanding. I'm just being honest,
that is
man.
Travis only wanting 10% of the vote.
Oh, you know what I mean. Not 90 full. You know what I mean, though. Like, I think that a lot of people are fucking pieces of shit. That doesn't mean they deserve to get shot in the fucking face. Do I think that Kyle Rittenhouse was, I think he's probably a piece of shit.
Well, I'm curious too. If let's say that she was a part of a group that was getting paid to be there, to follow them around.
Is there any?
Is the job market that fucking bad?
Yeah, I mean, it is. It is. The job market's not great. But not just that. But no, I think she's doing it. I think she was doing it because she's a believer, right? She was like, she was doing it because she had, that was what she wanted. That was the same thing with Kyle Rittenhouse. George Floyd's a little bit different because, he was just drug-addled asshole.
He fit the race criteria for them.
That was a racial issue. And that is interesting to see the number of African Americans that have kind of said, because a lot of the liberals were using the like say her name line with this chick. And dude, I don't know if you saw that aspect.
No.
Dude, there was a bunch of black chicks that were getting on and being like, no, say her name is a black thing. Don't try to take this. And they were turning it into a race thing.
Yeah,
and I was just like, just watching the left fucking
I don't know what
just
the
attack there. Just so stupid. I mean, the whole thing's goddamn stupid.
I don't know what the say her name thing is.
I think there was some, I don't remember what it was. I guess we can, that's the nice part about having this is I can ask real quick.
Well, while you're looking that up, if you would like to support Renee Good's widow and family, there's a GoFundMe for her. I do believe that's what it's called, actually. The donations are paused right now. Don't know why, but it says
That's
donations paused. Support for Renee Good's widow and family is at $1,503 and $1,503,387. That is what it's been raised.
Well, and again, like I said, at the end of the day, I will always, I will always have critically think about this. I'm never going to, or I'm going to try not to rather jump in on the front end of this. I watched all the stuff. I don't, racial justice. Says the phrase became widely known in 2014 and 15 after the death of Sandra Bland and was formally popularized by the African American Policy Forum and legal scholar Kimberly Crenshaw. It highlights many different names, but that was the start, was Sandra Bland. Yeah, so that's where it came from. So they tried to use that phrase and it became like, no, this doesn't count because it has to do with women that die in racial violence. So I can understand that, I guess. Again, I don't know. I think that it's I don't know. I think at that point you're just you're getting too like
You're grasping at straws.
You're cutting, yeah, you're cutting hairs, man. Like, I don't know, man. I just, again, my whole thing is I feel very similar about this as I do with the George Floyd. I think both fucking people in this instance were probably fucking assholes. I think she was there and, she was fucking around and I hate that fucking phrase. I'm about 3/4 of the way done with an article talking about how I'm already so sick of hearing the phrase fuck around and find out. Dude, it's just like,
all the stupid shirts, fuck around, or if you know, you know.
Yes.
If somebody posts something and puts
louder for those in the back.
Fuck you.
Dude,
I hate your post.
Yeah, so I'm in the middle of I started writing an article about, how I think the title of the article is FAFO is officially cringe. And then I had like the tag that said thanks boomers. And that's exactly it. Like, it started off as like as something, internet wording, and now it's just, oh, she fucked around and she found out. Okay, Ben Shapiro, fucking douchebag. Yeah, like that's exactly it. Like
kind of like Tim Walls, he fucked around and found out.
Oh yeah.
And now he has a Fortnite character. He will hit you with a tampon.
Tampon Tim. Yeah, he's not running.
Tim.
He's not running.
Oh, thank God.
I mean, honestly, whoever replaces him is not going to be any fucking. That doesn't impress me. I don't care. He's not running. Cool, fantastic. Okay, cool. The next fucking douchebag will take over. Like, airplay again.
Is it?
Yeah. So I don't know, but anyways, I think let me complete my thought because George Floyd and her both probably, she might have been a nice lady, but she put herself in a shitty situation. And you had an undertrained cop that didn't follow the rules, as a lot of them don't. Not all of them, obviously, but there's a lot of them that don't respect the Constitution, that don't respect your rights, and you're not supposed to be putting yourself in front of a vehicle. And they said, well, it's not a moving vehicle. It's running.
Well,
all you gotta do is hit the goddamn gas and it's moving.
I'm
like, stay the fuck out in front, deep shit.
I'm curious on the video clip because you see the portion when they're walking around the vehicle, which there's cameras everywhere. Why couldn't you just, get a picture of the license plate, let her be on her way, file it with the prosecutor, then go get a warrant for arrest.
That's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to do, and that's exactly what you referenced, is that there's goddamn every block. What type of surveillance state do we fucking pay for when you actually fucking need it? It's not there to help you. You know what I mean? Like, what do it's supposed to keep you safe. It's supposed to save us from doing shit like this. Well, yeah, she should have been, if you were going to file, what would be the obstruction of justice?
Yeah.
If you wanted to file an obstruction of justice, that's fine. I get that. You're not allowed to, there's certain steps you're allowed to protest, but there's nothing in the laws that say you have to be nice to cops. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing, you're not allowed to be combative. You're not allowed to be, but they weren't you know, they were not being nice about it. They were being, you know, they were disagreeing, and they were being shitty, just as you would expect. But again, that's my fucking, I guess, final take on it. Is I think the whole thing sucks. I think anybody that is super happy that our government just shot a person protesting in the face 3 times isn't thinking about the fact that there's going to come a time very quickly that Democrats are going to seize power. And all of this power that is being accumulated at the fucking executive branch, and that is accumulating for the state and at that level, that is going to be used against you. It was during COVID. It's going to fucking happen again.
There's definitely a blue wave coming.
Oh, it's going to be so bad. It's going to be so goddamn bad. And I'm not looking forward to that, because I'm no Democrat. I'm no lib. You know, I'm not in that category.
But at the same time, it's the 2-party system working its way.
Yep. They know it. We know it. You guys know it. We're not telling you anything that you don't fucking know.
That's why I find it interesting just looking at the local races. You've got, 90% Republicans that have filed so far. And just another thing that at the local, it's like, as soon as they open up filings, you got to be first in line to file because it shows you that you're serious. People don't give a shit about that.
No.
That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. But we were told that.
Yep.
Obviously still rings true for some.
Mm-hmm.
How much time are we at?
We're at 1 hour and 13 minutes, so we're coming to the end. And I think that's a good point. I think that's a good stopping point, honestly. We got our first show with Dion tonight. We will be live with them. By the time this show, I'm not going to get this up until either late tonight or tomorrow morning even. So this show we're recording right now will be put up after we do this interview, so you won't get a chance to be reminded, but we're going to post about the reminders on it. I just already shared it a couple of times while we were on this. So yeah, thank you guys again so much. We appreciate you guys coming on and listening to us and supporting us. We've got a few different things we're looking at possibly doing. We're looking at getting some merch done out.
Possibly do some merch. We're still kind of, kicking the tires, trying to see what to do.
Yeah, I think we have a good, at this point, we have a good, like we start off, we get sports out of the way. We start off kind of fun, then we go, local, state, finish off national, and then fuck off and let everybody enjoy their day.
We got the Buffalo Bills and the Jaguars still playing 13-7. It is middle of third quarter.
Nice.
And
game on here in a minute.
Dion's Daily Dose will be live tonight, 7 o'clock, and that'll be posted on Wednesday.
I'm excited about that. I think that's going to be a good. I'm excited about the aspect of adding people, adding interviews in. I think that's going to be cool because again, you don't know what you don't know, right? So we come on and we bullshit and we talk about the stuff that our past experiences, but there's so many different people that we've learned and accumulated knowledge from over the years that I really do appreciate them and them coming on. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man.
And again, if you're interested in possibly joining a roundtable with us and Dion and maybe a few others, we're looking for Democrats, Republicans, Independents, anybody that's interested, anybody that's takes a following or a liking to state, local politics, maybe dabble into national a little bit. Go to the website, check out the website, email us. Who knows? Maybe we'll put another Spotify poll on here today.
We should. What poll do you?
I think we do something about
the shooting.
I think we do something about the shooting.
Was the shoot whose fault? Who was at fault? Ooh, okay. Yeah, we'll do a poll about the shooting. That'll be interesting. That'll be an interesting poll. So, all right. Well, thank you guys again. We are Disenfranchised.